Installation Kocom Kvm524Rg Memory Video Doorphone System. First, you start by opening the boxes of the camera and check all connectors and peripherals for the installation. You open the monitor box and you will find the manual so you can consult. You take off the monitor and you have the bracket behind. You have the handset, and underneath the handset you have the screws and connectors needed for the installation. Now you start by taking the bracket from the monitor and check where it's going to be positioned. You put the bracket to the wall and screw it so you can wall mount the monitor. You have the holes of the bracket so you can hang up. After you bring the cable, you can use an RJ45 UTP cable for installation. You are going to use 6 wires for this type of installation. 6 wires are used for one camera connection and door lock. For more cameras, you have to use 2 wires. So you need 2 UTP 8-core RJ45 cables. You trim the cable and you separate all the wires so you can connect the monitor. After you trim the cable, you take off the monitor and cut the wire of the power. Take the handset off and connect the wires to the monitor. Connect the first 4 wires, which are the B1, Y1, R1, W1 to the B, Y, R, W of the camera. Use the SW1 and SW2 for the door lock. B2, Y2, R2 and W2 are used for an extra monitor or other monitors in the system. Make sure you use the same wires in sequence as used from the external camera. As you can see, you have the small right connector. It is used for the audio handset communication. After you have connected all UTP cable, you pass the power cable to the nearest socket outlet or power near to the monitor. You hang up the monitor to the wall on the bracket. You take off the handset and connect it to the monitor, and the installation of the monitor is ready. Now you bring the camera, the external camera, you take off the bracket, check the positioning, and screw the bracket with the screws to the wall. Make sure you tighten all the screws to the wall and the bracket is positioned for camera installation. After you cut the cable, you sleeve it, and you separate the 4 wires you are going to use to connect the camera. You have to use same camera connections used to the monitor. Connect B of camera to B1 of monitor, Y of camera to Y1 of monitor, R of camera to R1 of monitor, W of camera to W1 of monitor. After connected all wires, you can close the camera with the screw provided. And as you can see, the installation of the monitor system Kvm524Rg is ready. Demonstration and functions of model Kvm524Rg. The visitor comes, rings the bell. The attendant picks up the receiver and talks with the visitor. You can open the door by pressing the bottom right button. And hang up the receiver. The middle bottom button is used for monitoring observation system to see who is outside. The right button is used for the lock, and the left bottom button is used for the internal communication, to communicate from a floor to another, or a handset or a monitor, without being heard from outside. The memory system is in the top left side. You have the top button to check the visitors who ring when you are absent, and you can see up to 64 images with the time and date. The other 4 buttons are used for recording and to set the time and date of the system. At the bottom you have the contrast, the volume, and the brightness of the screen.